Macon, Florida, growing manufacturing in the Sunshine State.
Here today at Weber Manufacturing with Weber's president, Sam Prost. Sam, it's really a pleasure and an honor of mine to have you on my show. Weber Manufacturing actually is also a member of SAMA, Sarasota-Manatee Manufacturing Association. How long you been a member?
We've been a member since 1971.
Wow. 1971.
Yes.
Lots of things changed since
Yeah,
that.
lots of things have changed.
Wow. How old is Sama? Is about that age, right?
I think they're chartered in 70.
Okay, so you were right through the get-go.
I think we were the first paid member.
This is incredible. So you've seen it all.
Pretty much.
So what are you seeing now? Is it a little different?
It's a lot different, but it's a lot better too.
Yeah.
It used to be just a social gathering before
I heard.
You'd have dinners once a month and you'd have maybe a guest speaker or not. But today, the way you have it situated with Rob and the tours and stuff like that, it's more beneficial. And then a lot of seminars and different things like that. It's much more business friendly than back then. It was more of a social gathering.
Yeah, and our goal is really to always keep improving. You mentioned tours is one of the good things, and a lot of members. I remember Rob Harris, by the way, is our executive president for those new listeners.
Sorry.
But you mentioned tours, manufacturing tours, and we actually we went around many members of SAMA asking, what's the best thing? And I don't know if you remember, Rob likes to say, so people said tours is the best thing, but also tours are the worst thing because you cannot hear, right? And now we invested in better equipment, so now it's
very much so.
Very good.
So
you can hear, we have the speakers and the guide has a nice mic, so you can really hear what is that they're explaining there. So what do you think tours is one of the better things? What is good?
Well, it lets you see what other companies do and how they conduct their business and what they actually make, what they do.
Exactly.
You may know that Chris Craft is a boat company, but unless you've gone there to see how they're doing it, it's
the boat company until you see it.
Yeah, until you see it. So, so things like that. And then there's a lot of other ones that are very, you gain a lot from them knowing, what they actually do.
Exactly.
So,
well, I know it was a little untraditional start, but let's get us back on track. And first of all, let's start with the history of Weber and Sam, and maybe your story. How did you get into it? I mean, it's fascinating because I did some research and I know you're something like fourth generation manufacturing business.
Fourth is stretching it, but I'll explain. Okay, both my parents and all of my aunts and uncles immigrated from France to the United States, and
how long ago was it?
Well, they did that. My dad, I think, was in like the 40s, and then my uncle that carries the name Weber, Leon Weber, came in the mid 50s.
So it was during the war then?
Well, actually, my mom came over as an au pair for the ambassador to France, and then got stuck over here with the war.
Wow.
So she never went back, and he didn't either. But anyway, so my dad came to the United States in the 40s when, after he got out of boarding school, his mom and sisters had already moved to Philadelphia, so he came along. And my mom and dad met in Philadelphia, and then her brother, which is Leon Weber, my uncle, wanted to move. So he came to the United States, and back then you had to have a sponsor, you had to have a job, you had to have a place to live, and you had to learn the language and become acclimated into the United States. So they started the company Weber Manufacturing. They started LF Weber actually in Philadelphia in the mid 50s. And then in 63, we moved to Florida, to Venice, Florida. And
it was a decision to move to
weather.
just weather.
blizzards.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, compared to Pennsylvania, for sure.
yeah. So they loved the weather down here, and so they moved here. Not one customer, not one customer. So they relied on all of their business that they had in Philadelphia, and we still have one customer today that we just finished a job for that still uses us after all these years.
That's
But
amazing.
yeah, so they moved to Florida, and they made it a corporation, so it became Weber Manufacturing. They stuck with the name because it was already, a name that was
Mhm.
out there. So I say my dad and my uncle, they didn't have egos at all, so they didn't really care. So then it developed, and
Where does the name came from? I mean, Weber. What was the reason?
his last name Weber.
Oh,
Because so he could show that he was having a company or he had a business or a job when he came to the United States.
okay. So, because your last name is Prost.
Yeah, my last name is
Yeah.
Prost.
Okay.
Weber is my mother's maiden name.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so
I didn't know that. That's what I'm
okay,
asking. Yeah. Okay.
okay,
Now,
yeah.
so,
So that's where Weber, and that's how we're into it. So, um, it was a family business, and I just stayed with the family business. Okay, so I started in high school, and then after graduating high school, came full time. My wife Pam and I got married in '73, and I went to college at night, and then graduated from University of South Florida.
what did you do? Like, what degree did you?
It's in business administration.
Okay.
I am definitely not a machinist. I've been told out in the shop with machinists that say, "Don't you have something to do in the office?" And I'll take the hint and say, "Oh yeah, I do." So yeah. So
So
we
what?
have a great crew of people. We have a great employees.
Actually, yeah. So we were just looking. You have this, I guess, plaque with how many years of service, and we were looking at 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and then
Plaque
40
is,
years.
I have two people that are over 40 years. So yeah, I have a 42 and a 41 year.
That's amazing. And actually, I was talking recently um, to the director of economic development in Lee County,
Mhm.
and one of the things we mentioned is that manufacturing is one of these only jobs where you can find employees that have been there for 20, 30, 40 years. It's not even that unusual. When in other industries, maybe like hospitality, it's more rare. I mean, I'm sure it happens everywhere, but manufacturing is one of those industries that
Yeah.
it's more common and relevant, and that's why
Mhm.
it's so important to introduce manufacturing to our younger generations. And I think that's I mean, we were going to talk about challenges, what's common challenges in manufacturing, and I'm sure you're going to
Employment.
say
Yeah.
employment, workforce, right?
Right.
But one of the things we need to attract the younger kind of generation to manufacturing. Unfortunately, it's so common when I go and talk to manufacturing leaders. They can be as high as a VP of manufacturing or even COO, sometimes even CEOs. And when I ask them, so how were you introduced to manufacturing? Many times the answer I get is, well, when I was growing up, I didn't know about manufacturing much. Uh, and usually it's common with millennials. I didn't know about manufacturing much, so I did went from career to career. I was changing jobs, like I was changing socks, right, pretty often. And then eventually I got really hit rock bottom, and I said, you know what, I'll just take whatever there is in the newspaper. And then lo and behold, there is this manufacturing company hiring, and the wage was okay. It was like a starting just general laborer, and that's how they got to manufacturing, and they found out what manufacturing is all about this way. So in the comments I'm hearing, I wish I knew about the existence of manufacturing as an option when I was maybe in high school, maybe middle school, maybe even before,
Mhm.
not when I was in my mid-20s. So that's something that I think one of the missions of this podcast of Sama, to really bring awareness to our communities, to our schools.
manufacturing used to kind of have a reputation of being kind of dirty and nasty, and nobody wanted to do it. But today it's so much more sophisticated. I mean, our equipment out there is computer controlled,
Yeah.
and they're enclosed. They're really nice pieces of equipment. They're very pricey, and so it's it's not that stigma anymore.
Hmm.
Okay, it's pretty well versed in knowing that the floors are clean and the lighting is good and the machines are top notch. So it's come a long way since what
Yep.
people might have envisioned. So we find that finding great employees is a challenge, but once you find them, we're able to keep them and keep them happy and keep them here. So one of the things that's happened lately is SCT, STC, Sarasota Technical College, where they have a machining program and they have drafting and they have a couple of other different manufacturing related programs. And I think that young folks in the coming up in the high schools and different maybe afterwards get involved in that, and then they can see, well, this is totally different than what I thought it might have been.
Yeah, exactly.
And it pays well. It
Mhm.
pays well. The benefits are, you know, the best we can give, and people out there really like it. So our shop is air conditioned. In the summertime, it's a big deal. In the wintertime, it's not that big a deal, but we're heating. But yeah, so that's coming along with that. We do trade shows. We talk to a lot of people. We've gone to Venice High School has a thing where it's called Real World Wednesdays, and excuse me, the folks next door at PGT, and I know a number of other businesses go to that, and they talk to the youth about what they do. What's our business, and how do we promote it? So we're trying to keep the um, youth in the area, not
Mhm.
get up and go and leave the area. So it's quite beneficial.
Yep, and it's very common for young people thinking young people that are growing up in Florida, thinking their only opportunity is to get out of the state. Sometimes even right after high school, to find some programs, some colleges outside of Florida. They don't realize how good the schools become. The colleges of Florida are really
Mhm,
good now,
mhm,
and also. Once again, there is no awareness, so it's good you're working on those initiatives.
mhm,
They are not even realizing that there is an opportunity, a big opportunity, just to stay here in Florida.
mhm,
There is amazing jobs, and it's like you said, manufacturing is not dirty or unpleasant anymore. And actually now, the skill that is going to separate you from the rest is knowing how to operate those machines.
yeah,
Right? It's not necessarily press a button
right,
anymore.
right, right.
That's a machine can do it, but you need to know how to troubleshoot, how to operate those machines, and
How to program it and
how
set
to
it up.
program exactly.
Yeah,
Setting up is a big skill, and maintenance, right? That's
maintenance.
that's
Yes.
that's huge as well. So you said you have sophisticated uh, machines, I guess, that with some advanced technological specifications. And do you use AI at all? Or
We haven't gotten into AI on it yet, but we do have uh, com, programs that will write the actual program. They'll take a 3D model and formulate a program to put into the machine so that you
Mhm.
can start, have a good foundation and then just tweak to the sizes that you need to get to.
Mhm. And what's your expertise, or what industries do you serve mostly?
We are considered what's called a job shop. Okay. So
Yep.
job shop means that we don't have our specific product. We do not make a product that we sell. We sell basically machine time to people that send us drawings and want us to make their part to go into their product that goes into uh, the industries that they're serving.
Yep. Do you work with DoD at all, or any government
We
contracts?
we are not first tier DoD, okay, but a lot of our customers are DoD, and then they sublet
Yeah.
to other companies like us.
Can you explain first tier for those who don't know?
First tier is like the Department of Defense sends us a quotation, and we quote it out, send it back, and they give us a purchase order. That's
Mhm.
first. Second tier would be they've done that to somebody else, and then that somebody else needs to have a byproduct of whatever they bid on
Mhm. Yep.
to have those components made, and we make those components to their specifications and then send it to them. They put it together and send it to the DoD.
So you would be considered second or maybe even a third?
Second, third, down the line.
Mhm.
Yeah. We're second tier automotive. I know that. We don't make any products for the big three automakers, or now there's a lot more big three automakers, but we make it for companies that are either doing products that go into repairing the uh, vehicle, or a high performance for people that like to have high performance cars.
Uh-huh. Okay.
We're in the boating industry. We're in the archery industry. We're in the medical industry. We do a little bit of avionics for the aerospace industry, but a little bit of that. We're very strong in hydraulics. We're very strong in hydraulic component parts that our company was pretty much founded on that. With moving to Florida, not having one customer, they had to go out and look for other people, and they found a customer in Sarasota that was making hydraulic components, and latched onto them, and then we've been making them since 1964.
Yeah. So you consider industry leader in this specific niche?
I would say in the state of Florida,
Mhm.
but overall in the nation,
Yeah.
you're a little fish in a big pond. But in Florida, we're kind of a medium-sized fish in a small.
And what's your strategy for growth or the next 5, 10 years?
We have recently started becoming stronger in our marketing efforts. Okay, we go to trade shows, we have websites, and we have a video based on our company, and then we're doing a lot of outside marketing, and we have sales reps, and we have a salesperson in our on staff.
And do you track those performance metrics, like does it help to bring more business? You thinking, or it's still kind of early in the process?
But it's still we're early in that area of tracking. But yes,
So I guess the vision is just to grow over here, or maybe open another location. You thinking?
well, just to grow here.
Yep. And
Okay.
keep it in the family.
And keep it in the family. It's truly third generation at the moment. Fourth generation, with you through my grandfather from France, but that really was just because he was my dad's dad. But so a true third generation
Mm-hmm.
company here, woman owned,
Yep.
and we have a lot of family members here, so it's been pretty good. In our industry, in the machining industry that we're in, like right now, uh, it's not uncommon to have 3 and 4 generations of layers of
Yep.
company, where um, it's a big industry. It's a good size industry.
And I like to see companies where they keep it in the family. Uh, Obviously, sometimes it's challenging. It's sometimes the kids don't really want to continue that legacy,
Mm.
but it's really nice when to see a company with third, fourth, and so on and so forth,
Mhm.
keeping in the family.
Mhm.
Uh, so you obviously were extremely involved with Sama, right? You were one of the first, or the first paying member, you said.
That's what they said, yes.
Yeah. So how was this? How Sama role do you think shaped or helped or in the growth of Weber?
The early days, like I said, it was more of a social
Yeah.
organization, but now today, um, the beauty part about SAMA is if you're having a difficult problem, you can reach out to other members that might be having the same problems and see how they're doing their problematic situations and go from there. So it's a
Yep.
lot of help there. And I was on the board for quite a few years, and knowing the different board members and meeting a lot of the members, it's great to have a group of people that you can rely on and ask for help.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And like anything else from Sama, maybe a success story that you can think of, or I mean, so a big one is networking, right? I think
Yep. It's huge. Yeah.
that's the big takeaway.
Yeah.
Anything else that you may want to see, or something that is changing or evolving in Sama's direction?
Well, they've become part of the Florida Makes. Florida Makes has helped us numerous times in different situations. We've been accredited with the ISO 9000 2015. And just recently, we had to undergo a 2-day audit for that. Our quality person was never had gone through one of those things. So we contracted with Florida Makes through SAMA,
Yeah,
and we're able to get a person to come help and guide us through that. And we sailed through the ISO certification very, very well. The
that's
best we did.
It's great to hear. Yep.
So that's a success story from that. And then there's just a lot of smaller things that you just are happy to be in that
Hmm.
organization. I'm happy to be in that organization. It more than pays for itself.
Yep. And yeah, we have already over 80 members, manufacturing members, and just want to keep growing that.
There you go.
Yep. Uh, do you think the state of manufacturing's changed over the years in
It's a
guess
lot more recognizable.
in
They
this
used to
area?
think that tourism and agriculture was the things that kept Florida going.
Yep.
Okay, but they're finding now that there's a lot of manufacturing. There's a lot of manufacturing just in this city that you don't see because it's not out in the open. There's just
Mhm.
uh, there's 4 machine shops on this street, and it's not a very long street, is it? No.
Yep.
So, and then we also have um, one of our good customers is right next door. So I mean, there's a lot, and they're in the hydraulic steering mechanisms for boating.
Mm.
So they do hydraulic steering. So there's industry that people just don't see driving by because it's not a neon light that says, "Hey, we're manufacturing."
Exactly. Yeah.
So
And that's why also getting back to our earlier kind of conversation. How can we get the younger people know about all those manufacturing companies that's just right here behind, right in their neighborhood? And we are in Venice. I'm not sure if we mentioned that when you said this city. So we are actually in Venice, Florida.
mhm.
It's funny you mentioned. So Geldon is here too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I had no
It's one
idea.
of the
I had no idea.
largest door manufacturers.
Yeah. Windows and doors. Yeah.
Yeah, I sit right next to PGT.
Geez, and I was
Who's one of the largest manufacturers of impact windows and doors. So I'm surrounded by them. Uh, they are next to me. They're across the street. They're next to me on the side of the street. So,
But if you don't know, you don't know. That's
right.
as a business advisor, sometimes even myself, maybe not as much anymore. I've been doing this job for a couple of years, but before I was surprised. Like, what? There's this massive manufacturer. I didn't even know they were right here.
Yeah. Uh, there's Sun Hydraulic up in Sarasota. They're a big employment
Hmm.
source.
What about Air Products?
Air Products,
Yep.
another one. I mean, these are companies that you would drive by them and not even blink, knowing what they do there. Both of them are leaders in their industry.
Yep. Actually, Air Products story is also quite interesting because Pennsylvania. I think they came from Pennsylvania, and the reason
Good ones too, don't they?
it seems like, but the reason they came is because of the port.
Oh,
the seaport.
Port Manatee.
Yeah, that's the reason they came. And a lot of companies, manufacturers don't even know that we have the most ports in our state of any other state.
There are quite a few, and that the Port of Manatee is the closest port to the Panama Canal. That's what they say. But if you
Really?
that's what they said.
I
Did you
didn't
go
know.
on that tour? Anyway,
No, I couldn't make it.
but it's a port. You know, it's another one of those things that people drive by all the time on the interstate, and it's like, you know, 3 or 4 miles off the interstate, and nobody sees it. But
International port.
it is a very nice port.
Thing is, I was having a conversation. The only thing is, it's not as robust, I guess, as in the Miami side.
Maybe not as robust as that or Jacksonville or maybe even Tampa, but I mean, you should see what they take out of there. It's very impressive.
Yeah, so you need a full load to be able to utilize them. Otherwise, it will be a little tougher for smaller size companies to
Mhm.
get to take advantage of that port. It's
Yeah.
going to be very expensive.
Mhm.
That's what I was hearing. So that's it. But that's an opportunity for them to get to that level as well.
Mhm.
So we spoke a little about the challenges and opportunities. Let's talk a little more about. So what do you think are the kind of the current challenges for manufacturing companies in our area?
Current challenges are, you know, keeping up and maintaining a great employment level
Mhm.
where our machinists, we need to, you know, we could hire, you know, several more machinists that would help us, but they're hard to find.
Mhm.
They're very difficult to find. We have a graduate that just started not too terribly long ago, and he was a graduate of STC. So
Is it Suncoast?
yeah, Suncoast Technical College. So and he's doing very, very well. You know, so we're very, very happy to have him. Okay, so that is one of the biggest challenges. Probably government regulations for federal, state, maybe not so much local, but a little bit of local, but more things like that that come down from the thing. But they're becoming a lot more manufacturing friendly. As we spoke before, they used to think that agriculture and tourism were it, but manufacturing has come a long way, and we're being recognized slowly but surely in the funding
That's
and
good.
stuff like that.
So you see regulations are actually kind of hampering your business a little bit, or causing problems?
A little bit. You just have a lot of things that I can show you a bunch of. We have a policy for everything.
Some red tape,
Yeah,
kind of things. Yeah, that's. I hope it's going to change because it seems like the push is for manufacturing.
It's getting better. It's getting
on a
much better.
National and state
Yeah.
level,
Mhm.
but they need to put some more, I think, funding towards manufacturing.
Yes.
And that's something that we're seeing it change, but it's very slow change. So, so you work with Suncoast at all? I guess you go there. You're trying to. Are you trying to hire from Suncoast?
Yeah, we try to hire from
You work with
sure.
the college.
Yeah, I'd be happy to give scholarships to people wanting to go to STC for machining. You know, we would, you know, our company, we do donate to scholarships for the high school, and we would be most happy to, you know, give scholarships to
Like sponsor someone to
sponsor someone.
to go through the school.
Yeah.
Oh wow! But would you interview them? I guess first from.
Yeah, we
high
just
school.
want to make sure that
Yeah.
they want to come to work for us and
Mhm.
not, you
Yeah.
know, take it and run.
Yeah, so that's the risk, right?
Yeah, that's the risk. You know, you got to be happy for the person because they're trying to better themselves and stuff.
That's amazing, and that's something also I think a lot of young people don't realize there that you don't need a 4-year degree to be able to support yourself and your family.
You do not. You do not need a 4-year degree with a boatload of debt. It's very reasonable to go there. I don't know how much it is, but I would imagine it'd probably be less than $10,000. Do you know? But then you, yeah.
Hmm.
But then, you're making money right away. Yeah, I think it's a good bang for your buck.
Exactly. And like you said, I mean, manufacturers, after high school, you could try and apply for a manufacturing company, establish a relationship, and many times companies will actually send you to school
Mm-hmm.
and offer it to sponsor you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 50%, maybe 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Many times it is 100%. And it's a good deal. I think it's a good deal.
It's a real good deal.
Okay, so what opportunities do you see?
We're starting to see a lot of people reshoring, which is bringing stuff back to
Yep.
the United States to manufacture here. They realize it may cost a little bit more, but we have advantages of location and not having to wait months and months and months and just have it in weeks and weeks. So we're seeing opportunity.
Do you see it's increasing the reshoring, the
Increasing.
percentage? Is it just in the last year, or it's been happening for the last, like, more than that?
Happening at least since the beginning of the year, but yeah, it's been happening very slowly before that. But now, with the push with the tariffs and everything, and people seeing that that it's probably a good thing to manufacture in the United States and not have to have things bought out where we're just a service company. It's a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, manufacturing creates jobs and supports the economy,
Right.
local economy, in the state or in your county,
Mm-hmm.
in your country.
Right.
So I'm hoping the trend is going to continue. Okay, so what's the takeaways? Do you think? What's the future takeaways? Or what would be an advice you would give to other manufacturing companies?
What I don't give the store away. No, just that be the best employer you can be for your employees, and they'll really appreciate it. The gentleman that's been here 42 years and 41 year, um, must be doing something okay that they would stay that long.
You would think, right?
Yeah, I was told when I was first starting out in management, it's like, you're hiring the person, but you're not just hiring them from 8 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. You're hiring the whole person. So try to get to know them and understand them and know where they're coming from. And then just treat them with the same respect that you would want to be treated. And then, um, pay them the best you can and give them the benefits that you can, and you'll be rewarded.
That's a good advice.
Okay.
I think it's a great advice. And what about if we have some young listeners listening, maybe a young machinist or somebody who wants kind of trying to figure things out?
Do the best job you can. Whatever you do, just do it to the best of your ability, and you'll be rewarded. Yeah. So
Absolutely. Well, Sam, it was a pleasure to host you, to have
thank
you
you,
here.
Pavel.
And I really hope for many more generations of Weber. Yeah.
Thank you
Of
very
Weber.
much. We have a bunch of them coming up, so
Yep.
we'll see what we can do.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks. Yep.
Thank you.